I met a gypsy.
And you look at like what it cost Lance. And you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that they're also like, do you want to be
No.
that guy?
Well, Kobe was the same way. I mean, he was. I mean, you have to be selfish.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You have to be. It's like you can't be balanced and be like that. There's no balance.
I wonder if there's a way though where you can like just hack that in a sense, because it's like, like you have enough data. Like you can look at a Lance and you can look at and it's like a thing that you can just switch on and off. Because like Lance couldn't switch it off.
No.
And it's like the drugs, the steroids, the lying about it, like the way that he got in deep to perform. And granted, everyone was doing it.
Yeah, but still.
And it's like the tour itself. I would get so pissed off when the Lance thing came out, because I'm like, the fuck do you want him to do? You make the tour harder and harder and harder and harder every year. It's like the body is the fucking same.
Yeah.
So you want to keep making this race the gnarliest. Like that's the thing, is this is the gnarliest race in the world. Well, guess what? The human body has a limit. Yeah. And now these guys have gone. These guys found it, and then they said, "Well, we need more." But anyway,
and that's one where I really respect. I mean, I never knew. He never talked to me about that.
Really?
Never. Not until it was over, but never.
Yeah, once it was.
No, over. And people think, oh, he was like drug. He drugged like, took EPO a little bit and some stuff, like literally a couple months before the tour. Like it wasn't like every time he worked out he took steroids or anything like that. It was, but I really respected him because I was almost, I mean, I suspected, of course, but just because the rumors and.
Well, you kind of, and everyone.
And I was on the inside.
Yeah.
The very inside. And he was very respectful. I never, Lance did so much for my career, and I mean, we're good friends, and I have nothing but good things to say about him. Of course, did he do some shitty things? Yeah. But to me, I mean, he's been incredible. Like, he helped me. He's the one that made me go to LA. He's the one that gave me my first, big high-end CEOs and basketball players and baseball players. And, at that time, I trained Lance Armstrong. Okay, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
and back then, it was like a meal ticket. It was like the golden ticket.
Yeah.
And I traveled with them for, every other month I used to go to Austin, and my kids were friends, and we were going to Aspen. And so it was, he was great to me. And I think, not to stick up for him, but, just that he was like Jesus. We'd go into like the casino and we'd go to Vegas or when he had a talk or something. It was just like the sea would part.
He was one of the most famous people in the world.
God, you have no idea. It was wild to be in that whole. I was right in the middle of that whole thing, and to see that was wild to watch that whole thing happen.
Yeah, I definitely. I feel like he got made a scapegoat.
100%.
Like when the way that I looked at that, and I mean, I was like fairly young, like I was probably in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But I like read all his books.
Yeah.
Like I knew about Lance Armstrong,
Yeah.
And I met him at Austin at MotoGP once, and like super nice dude.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was watching that, I was like, why is this one dude the focal point? Like obviously he was the most famous. He was the one that was winning. But it's like that almost to me was like, okay, you've got like a systemic problem here.
Yeah.
Like this sport is sick.
Oh, it is.
Not just this one guy.
It's everyone.
Like, so it almost seemed to me like they wanted to go like, all right, let's chop his head off. And now the sport's cleaned. We got rid of the cheater. We got rid of the bad guy. It's like the UCI or whoever the fuck, the tour, like that whole thing. Okay, we've got a huge problem. And like I think the onus should have been more on the sport to come forward and be like, hey,
and drugs,
it's not just Lance, it's kind of everyone, and like we've got a problem, we need to fix it. Maybe we should also think about how hard the fucking Tour de France is.
And steroids in sports is a weird. I mean, I told you I worked at a gym when I was really young, and
this is a great story.
And I used to give. Story. I mean, when I was 12, 13, I worked at. It's called Santa Barbara Gym. It was all the things.
How did you get into that though?
When I was playing volleyball at the time, that was my first love, volleyball. And
and now it makes
my
sense
friend, my friend was he worked at the gym and he got me a job there on the weekends because I was a little gym rat. I just loved the gym and like all the people. And I would just see, I worked at the front desk, and, all the power lifters, after a while, they just gave me an orange and a syringe and said, "Hey, practice that." I just pushing the syringe, and before I knew it, I was in the back giving all the guys drugs, like literally shooting them up with, Parabolin, testosterone, whatever, whatever, you know. And it was such a denial drug. Like I would shoot someone up, and then someone would go, "Oh, you're on drugs," and the guy would almost punch him out. Like, no, what are you fucking talking about? I'm not on drugs. It's so weird to watch that. It's like the weirdest thing. It's like the OJ didn't kill his wife.
Yeah.
It was just like,
Yeah,
dude, I just shot you up. What
he
the fuck?
did.
You're like,
Yeah.
you're fucking on drugs. Why are you acting like this? It was weird to watch. It was bizarre, and so there's a whole weird. You almost talk yourself like you're not doing it. It's a weird culture, and these guys. But I learned. I mean, get me wrong. I learned so much working at that. I mean, because I just used to. All the Russian guys would come in, and I just watched what they did in the rep ranges, and just it was just Granted, they were on drugs, but it didn't matter. I mean, it was just the way they trained, and
Yeah.
they were going to the Olympics and stuff. This wasn't just like I want to get big. I'm a meathead. This was guys. I want to deadlift. And clean and jerk. 1,000 pounds at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so I had just a incredible, physiological experience watching how these guys trained, and
so young.
all day long. Yeah, I was young, and that's how I was into it at a really young age. I just like, okay, why are they doing 5s today and not 10s? And why, and I'd ask them. I was like the little curious George. I go, why are you guys doing 6 sets of 1 today? Like, what you guys did 5? And he'd explain it to me. Like, well, every once in a while you got to go to 90% of max, and then I started reading. They'd give me books, and I'd start reading about it. And
Did you ever read Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding?
yeah, but I wasn't into bodybuilding. I wanted
It was
strength.
play out.
I wanted like, okay, how can I didn't and that's where they explained to me, like, okay, like if you keep the rep ranges in those, and for big athletes, like everyone thinks if I lift heavy I'm going to get big. If you keep the reps under 3 or 4, 5, you're not going to get big. You're just going to get strong.
Yeah.
If you want hypertrophy, you go in the 10 rep range, and people go, I can't lift heavy. I'm going to get big. I'm like, Chase, fucking, if you ask me that one more time, I'm going to shoot you. No, you're not going to get big doing 3 reps. It's like, it's nervous system. You're not, you're not going to put on a lot of weight. If I said, okay, go do 10 reps real slow, yeah, you're going to blow up like a balloon. So it's just, it's just these misnomers that people don't understand, with physiology and how the body works. But watching these guys, because some of these guys wanted to go into I saw some guys that were 5'4", 140 that could lift like crazy weights, and they were like my size. And they go, what do you mean? I never go over 3 reps ever. That's why I'm not big. If I wanted to get big, I could. So there's the whole vision. You don't have to get big and lift weights. It's not. There's a way. Like,
it's not a direct.
Like motocross people don't want to be. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be like a runner either.
Yeah.
There's a fine line. Like I said, like Kenny Chase is probably a little on the bigger side for a motocross guy, but maybe the new breed, no. He's just a tank.
Yeah, but when you look at the crashes that he's had over the last couple of years,
exactly.
he really
So it's
hasn't
give and
missed
take.
races.
No.
I'd
I'd
want that.
And there's always, it's like Jet and Chase. They're built kind of differently. Jet's a little more skinny, or Levi. They're skinny, sinewy, kind of. And then there's, Chase and Tomac that are more, grinders,
Yeah.
And the same in triathlon. You got the guy that's winning everything, and then you get another guy that's third that's like, looks like, a roadmap with veins in his stomach. And so it's not everybody is the same. It's just how your body is. Everyone's athletic. I don't think, Chase's build makes him, I think, like you said, like Chase has always told me, like, I can't fucking ride the bike like I want to. I can't put the power into the front, or the bike. I only can ride it like 80% of how I want it, because he's so fucking strong. So that's what I'm saying. If we ever got a bike that could handle his power, he'd just be gone.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're chasing, So, and because he knows in his head what he can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's frustrating for him with the bike right now, the KTM, like he's had, is like, I can't ride the bike like I want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yes, he will, but right now
Takes a long time.
he's getting there, really getting there fast. But it's frustrating to go to a race like the first, where you just can't ride the bike or trust it like you want it to.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.